The Amalekites had come against Israel, and the people had no choice but to fight. Joshua gathered men for battle, but everyone knew they weren't warriors. They were former slaves, fresh out of Egypt, still learning what it meant to be free. So Moses climbed a hill overlooking the battlefield. In his hands he carried the staff of God, the same staff that had parted the Red Sea, the same staff that struck the Nile and turned it to blood. And as long as Moses lifted that staff high, Israel pushed forward. But when his arms grew tired and began to lower, the Amalekites gained ground. Imagine the weight, not just of wood, but of responsibility. An entire nation's hope resting on whether or not he could keep his hands raised. And then something beautiful happened. Aaron and Hur, who were with him on the hill, saw his weakness. They didn't scold him. They didn't tell him to try harder. They stepped in. One stood on his right, the other on his left, and together they held up his arms until the sun set and victory was won. This wasn't just a story about war. It was about dependence on God and on one another. Moses' raised hands were a symbol of prayer, a confession that the battle belonged to the Lord. And Aaron and Hur remind us that sometimes faith isn't about standing alone, it's about allowing others to hold us up when we can't anymore. The victory that day wasn't only on the battlefield, it was on that hill where weakness met support and God's power carried his people through. And maybe that's the lesson for us. There are times we are Moses, arms trembling, needing others to hold us up, and other times we are Aaron or Hur, called to lift someone else when the weight is too heavy. Because God's victories are rarely won alone. They are won together with his strength, his presence, and his people standing side by side.